Yeah, we all know how amazing Resident Evil 4 is. From the tuned gameplay to the crazy good atmosphere, no game in its generation came close to the horror-packed action scene in Capcom's revolutionary title. But with Halloween approaching, it's time to revisit Leon Kennedy's adventure, but this time it's for another reason. RE4 is a terrifying game, but there are some moments that just resonate fear better than others. In this episode of Vidjagames, we're diving back into RE4 and checking out some of the scariest moments in one of the scariest games of all time. It's Vidjagames' Top 5 Scariest RE4 Moments. Upon defeating Del Lago in the village stage, Leon is in critical condition. He blacks out in the nearby cabin only to have a horrifying nightmare. The parasite inside him awakens in a creepy squirm. Leon's body begins to metamorphose into the same kind of monster he's been fighting since the start. While Leon's horrific scream is terrifying to say the least, just seeing the Las Plaga angrily move amongst his bloodstream is something out of a trippy sci-fi horror flick. The noises the creature makes, the way it moves, its struggle to control Leon's system, it's also alien-esque. You really see what's happening, and although this is just a nightmare, it's one of the scariest scenes in the whole game. This is a pretty subtle one, but it definitely resonates with those after a really creepy moment without being packed with action or gore. Upon entering the sewers of the castle stage, you'll hear Salazar tell you that some of his insects are loose in the tunnels. You never know what's down there until a certain point, but immediately before you encounter the enemies, you hear that splashing. It'll grow louder and louder until it's right behind you. Then it stops, and as you turn to see nothing, you're left terrified at what the hell it was. It's a genius move that's been used for decades before, but in RE4 it's perfect. This moment, as short and simple as it is, resonates immensely with that perfect looming sense of dread that all great survival horror games have had. Hedge mazes are terrifying. You never know what's behind each corner. And when the castle stage pans over that gigantic hedge maze, you know that something's in there. Salazar offers a subtle hint by saying his pets are about, but if you thought you would never see those nasty wolf enemies, the Colmillos, again, hold your breath and enter the maze. You'll constantly hear a breathy pant from the enemies, but it's their speed that will distress you the most. There's nothing more frightening in this stage than turning a corner and seeing one of these monsters run toward you and maul your face off. Well, except this. If The Shining already got your adrenaline pumping, prepare to loathe hedge mazes from now on. It worked for me. In the castle stage, after the tragic death of a companion, Leon frees Ashley and the president's daughter is out on her own in a weapon-free, suspense-driven chapter. Ashley is only equipped with a flashlight and the ability to roast enemies by tossing lanterns. It's already unsettling knowing that your massive arsenal of guns and grenades are gone, but things take a turn for the worse once she ventures into a darker corner of the stage. You see those giant armor stands? Yeah, you should keep an eye on them. Right when they come into view, you know what's coming, but you're still shaken up. Grab the items and the treasure and you'll begin to hear the metal clanking on the ground. Louder, louder, until you're face to face with an axe-wielding, parasite-animated Tin Man. You can't even look back or they'll get you. Once the army of armor is blocked from the exit door, you're safe. But if anything, the stage demonstrates a minimalist sense of fear. It's a frightening feeling of helplessness against a massive force that only wants you dead. Upon entering the hospital area on the island stage, you're pretty much assured to have to deal with some creepy stuff, but nothing in the game comes close to what you're forced to fight. When the camera pans to that operating table, everything is crystal clear. That's pretty much what you're fighting. But against your best judgment, you grab that item, hear glass shatter, and witness this sluggish but distressing creature appear. The Regenerators and their spiked cousins, the Iron Maidens, are nightmarish monsters that are the closest thing to a zombie that you'll find in RE4, only much, much worse. Upon encountering the gasping creature, you have nearly zero possible way to defeat it. Weapons don't do significant damage, limbs grow back over time, and they can do this. In a nutshell, you're helpless. Once you obtain the infrared scope, however, you can then target the parasites on the monster's body and make it explode. Still, the damage is already done. You can play through this section dozens of times, and these guys will still give you chills. They are the scariest enemies in RE4, and well deserving of the top spot in RE4 scare shots. Got a comment or a request? Visit us on the Slacker Media page on youtube.com and visit defaultprime.com for more reviews, editorials, columns, and much, much more.